Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, trying to move forward in life, but something invisible keeps pulling you back? Like no matter how much you change on the outside, the same emotional patterns just keep repeating? What if the real reason isn't your current situation, but something far deeper, something rooted in the earliest emotional blueprint you ever received? Your relationship with your mother. Carl Jung believed that until we truly understand this foundational influence, we remain stuck, trapped in cycles of fear, insecurity, and silent longing. This video isn't about blame. It's about clarity. It's about reclaiming your story from the very beginning. Before we go deeper, if you value this kind of deep, soul-shifting insight, make sure to subscribe to the Mental Dose channel and turn on notifications. You're also welcome to join our Telegram community for early access to videos and exclusive guidance on emotional and spiritual healing. Now, let's begin. From the moment we're born, the mother becomes our first mirror, our emotional compass. Carl Jung didn't see her only as a person, but as an archetype, a powerful, timeless image imprinted deep in our unconscious. This archetype becomes the model through which we experience love, safety, identity, and belonging. Whether your mother was warm or distant, nurturing or critical, the emotional imprint she left is like the first sentence of your life story. It sets the emotional tone for everything that follows. And here's the truth. The relationship with your mother isn't just something that lives in childhood memories. It echoes in how you love, how you speak to yourself, how you show up in the world. And most of us are still carrying that influence without even realizing it as we move forward. Let's explore how this emotional blueprint might still be living in you today, quietly shaping your decisions, reactions, and relationships. You might not consciously remember the early dynamics you had with your mother, but your body does. Your nervous system does. Emotional patterns are formed long before we have words for them. That's why, as adults, we often make choices that contradict who we truly are. Carl Jung taught that unresolved dynamics with the mother archetype live on as projections. You might find yourself chasing approval from people who unconsciously remind you of her. Or maybe you avoid conflict at all costs, just like you learned to do growing up. These aren't random behaviors. They're unspoken emotional contracts you've carried for years. You didn't choose them, but they've been choosing for you. This takes us deeper into the quiet ache of unmet childhood needs and how those needs shape who you become in adulthood. Even in seemingly loving homes, children often grow up learning that love has conditions. Maybe you had to be successful to be praised, quiet to be accepted, or emotionally self-contained to avoid guilt. Maybe affection came with pressure, or silence was seen as strength. When this happens, love starts to feel like something you earn, not something you simply receive. And that belief doesn't fade with age. It becomes a lifelong pattern, chasing approval, chasing perfection, chasing worth. No matter how much you achieve, it's never enough. Because it's not about achieving more. It's about understanding where the emptiness began. Before we continue, if this message is helping you see your past more clearly, consider sharing it with someone who might need this clarity too. And if you'd like to support content like this, you can click the thanks button below. Every bit of support helps this community grow. So, how do we begin to untangle ourselves from the emotional residue of our past? Carl Jung called this process individuation, the journey of becoming whole. It means discovering who you are underneath the roles you once learned to play for approval, love, or protection. It doesn't mean cutting people off or rewriting your history. It means seeing your mother not as a symbol, but as a real, whole human being. Someone with her own story, her own wounds, her own limitations. Not perfect, not evil, just human. Ask yourself, who am I when I stop performing? Who am I when I stop trying to be what others need me to be? That's where the real journey begins. And often, The answers are hidden beneath years of emotional armor. Bring this inner shift into your external life. You must also become aware of the places where you're still projecting your mother's role onto others. Without realizing it, many people carry their mother's image into every important relationship. A partner becomes the one who should make you feel safe. A boss becomes the one whose praise you desperately need. But these are echoes, not current realities. When we project, we give away the power to heal. But healing begins when we take that power back. Instead of looking to others to mother us, we learn to mother ourselves. We offer ourselves the safety, the structure, and the compassion we were once denied. And in doing that, something shifts. We begin to take authorship over our lives. Insight is important, but it's not enough. Healing happens through action, through small, conscious choices made each day. Start by noticing what triggers you emotionally. When you feel overwhelmed, pause and ask, is this really about what's happening now? Or is something older being stirred inside me? Write about it. Speak it out loud. Let it surface. Make space for honest solitude. And when your inner critic gets loud, ask yourself, whose voice is that? Is it even mine? As you bring these patterns into awareness, you'll begin to make new choices. Choices that are rooted in truth, not survival. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about coming home to who you've always been. As you peel back the layers of adaptation, something inside you begins to shift. You stop performing. You stop proving. You stop seeking validation in all the wrong places. And in its place, a quiet, steady sense of self-respect starts to grow. Yes, challenges still come, but they no longer define your worth. You begin to understand that your mother may have written the first chapter of your life, but the rest of the book belongs to you. Her influence shaped you, but it no longer defines you. And when you stop seeing her as a symbol and start seeing her as a person, blame gives way to compassion. Confusion gives way to understanding. The mother is no longer a shadow. You carry her lessons, but not her weight. When you bring consciousness to the mother wound, you don't just heal yourself. You interrupt an entire lineage of unspoken pain. You shift what gets passed on. Jung taught that healing doesn't come through rejection, but through integration, through seeing clearly, feeling deeply, choosing differently. Ask yourself, what part of your story are you ready to reclaim? What patterns are you finally ready to release? If this message resonated with you, let us know in the comments. Your voice may be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the Mental Dose channel and become part of a community that honors depth, healing, and emotional freedom. Because in the end, healing doesn't begin by forgetting your mother. It begins by understanding her. And when you do, your real life begins. Healing isn't about blaming your mother. It's about understanding her. It's about seeing where her story ends and yours truly begins. The moment you stop carrying pain that was never yours to begin with, you open the door to freedom, authenticity, and peace. If this message touched something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Someone else out there needs to hear this too. Share this video with a friend, a sibling, or anyone you know who's still carrying wounds they don't fully understand. When we share healing, we multiply it. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the Mental Dose channel and turn on notifications. Here, we dive deep into truth, emotion, and transformation. This is more than a channel. It's a community for those who are ready to heal from the inside out. Because healing doesn't begin by forgetting your mother. It begins by finally understanding her. And when you do, your real life begins.